Greetings, everyone. So, this morning I wanted to talk about narcissism and boundaries. Anyone who is acquainted with a narcissist, especially a more malignant narcissist, will know that one, narcissist will not acknowledge your boundaries. Two, they will fight vehemently against your boundaries. Three, they will gaslight you, tell you why your boundary is wrong, or they will just gaslight you so much that you'll be really confused, and it's because they're trying, and probably successful, in annihilating your boundaries. That's why when you get to be more familiar with having boundaries and enforcing your boundaries, you will deflect more negative energies that are coming towards you, and the negative energies will not stay or adhere to your life or your field, metaphysically. So, I'm just going to use a few of my experiences with dealing with narcissists, and when I attempted to enforce a boundary, what happened. It's just going to be general statements. So, sometimes you're not even sure you're dealing with a narcissist. And it's just good to be aware of what your values are, what your limits/boundaries are. Because if you're aware of what you will and will not tolerate, it's going to be harder for a narcissist to either penetrate the boundaries, annihilate the boundaries, or gaslight you. So one experience that I had, I told a narcissistic person exactly why I would not do this certain task for this narcissist. I'm trying not to give too much personal stuff away. So I'm just going to make it into an example. So let's say you're dealing with a really narcissistic brother, and you are staying at his house or his girlfriend's house or in his, excuse me, in his vicinity. And all of a sudden, instead of helping you in your situation because you're going through something, now all of a sudden your brother's telling you, oh, I need you to paint this room. I need you to paint that room. Like no asking, no considering your bad knee or whatever it is you're going through. And even aside from that, honestly, anyone kind of ordering you or insisting on something, that's a really huge red flag. So you tell your brother, I'm not going to be able to paint. And you tell him the reasons why and why you don't want to. And your brother just ignores you 100%. Does never acknowledge that you said that, never acknowledge that you're not going to paint, etc., etc. Because in the narcissist's world, in his narrative, you're painting and there's no other option. You know what I mean? In fact, if you hear somebody say things like that too, like there's no other choice or no, this is how it's going to be, I would be nervous about someone like that. But they're almost going to take the things that you say as a big joke. It's a big joke. Like you are not allowed to say no. In fact, saying no to a narcissist will enrage them. And they all act in a different way. But in their own mind, they're like, you're not telling me what to do. Or, I actually am like that. I don't want people to tell me what to do. But it's like they are not open to any other way of being, any other person's viewpoint. They don't allow anyone else to have an opinion or a thought other than their own, which is kind of like thought control in a way. I mean, it is thought control. So the one that always used to confuse me is like when I would say, well, that's not going to work, or I'd be a little bit perplexed in what the narcissistic person was saying to me. And I think when I was perplexed, that was my intuition telling me something was off. You know, it's like this, narcissists have this entitlement that you're just going to go along with what they say to do, you know. And the minute that you decide you don't want to go to the football game, but you would rather go roller skating with your girlfriends, that's a problem. And there might even be like that circular talk. Oh, you always choose your girlfriends over me. You know, crazy stuff like that, which is totally kind of off topic. It's a made-up construct, and you need to go along with it because they want their way, and that's it. And that's why in these narcissistic relationships, you lose yourself. Like, your real, true, authentic self fades little by little each day. Just how they want it. They want you diminished. They want you small. They want you lesser than. They want you less intelligent. They want you not as pretty. They want you not as healthy or fit. That's because then they look better. And also it's easier for them to control you. I believe when it comes to boundaries, certain narcissists are going to throw out all kinds of gaslighting stuff. Sometimes I really don't even know if the narcissist knows that they're gaslighting. But they know what their motivations are. And they know that they're kind of, in some ways, they're like tunnel visioned. Like they're not able to see anything from another person's standpoint at all. Nor do they want to. They have no desire to. Because living the way they've been living with this tunnel vision has served them well. And that's what they are. They're very self-serving. It's all about them. It's all about me, I. And nobody is to be taken into account. There's to be no empathy or compassion given to a person. And furthermore, they don't have the capacity to feel empathy. A lot of them really fake it well. A lot of them do. But where I've gotten in my life now, I really have an amazing antennae to detect when someone does not have true empathy. It's actually, once you're more aware of these things, you will be able to detect a person that does not have true empathy. They act really weird. Or if they're trying to pretend they have empathy or compassion, they'll be really over the top, but it will be weird and it won't really fit. That's, I've mentioned that before, like they do these really weird things that don't fit the situation. Let's see, so the gaslighting, the ignoring, and then there's the other one, which is the narcissist that's not as sophisticated, is they just point blank tell you, no, you're going to do the painting. And sometimes it's because they're a little bit less sophisticated, but they're more malignant and mean, and they don't give a rat's tail like who sees who they are. They're just like, no, you're going to do that. A lot of really narcissistic parents do that. I feel really sorry for the children that are dealing with parents like that. I never had to really deal with that, that kind of stuff. But I mean, in the end, it's like you are not allowed to have any autonomy over your own body. You're not allowed to have autonomy over your thoughts. You're not allowed to have autonomy over your time or who you spend time with. You're not allowed to have opinions. You're not allowed to have any opinion other than what the narcissist says. And the boundaries is once you get to be very perceptive and strong about the boundaries that you have, and you can change your boundaries. You just have to be clear on what is okay with you and what's not okay. And I find that with my boundaries, and I do spend a lot of time alone, and I'm okay with that, I find that my boundaries have to line up with my values. I've had some really weird things happen in the past where, and I don't know that these people were that they were narcissists, but they were like in their own world, like all immersed in their kind of toxic, more alcoholic type behaviors. And, you know, anyone who's dealt with a person with addictions, you know how that can be. This is my experience. And they will try to pull you into their world. And if you allow yourself to be pulled into their world, and that could be anything. It could be church. It could be alcoholism. It could be super, like, undefined boundaries or just complete enmeshment, which is very, very unhealthy. Enmeshment is dangerous, and that goes along with the boundaries. Enmeshment means, like, you're all, like, enmeshed together. There's no you. There's all this we stuff, and we do this and we do that. If there's too much of that, you're going to lose yourself, and it's not healthy. So the situation that I was dealing with, I found later that it was just my values didn't line up with the people that I was around. They were nice enough people, though. They weren't bad people, but they were just, you know, they were into the drinking and the doing this and doing that. And I'm like, I'm not with that. You know what I mean? Not that I don't feel like I'm superior, because we all have our own, you know, things to deal with. But it was when I didn't, like, say if I would go out somewhere and I didn't go home when I wanted to, or I would drink a few more beers because I don't really drink hardly at all now. But, you know, I wasn't a big drinker. I never was. So then I would go against my own boundaries, and then, you know, I'd pay for it. That's just a real simple example. But essentially, a boundary is something that you feel strong about in your heart. And yeah, funny enough, one of the narcissists that I used to deal with, that was something that she really enjoyed doing, was trying to chip away at my boundaries. And then by the time I really realized what was going on and that she was like a narcissist, more so a sociopath, because she was a really dark, evil person when I got to know her well. Yeah, the more she would try to chip away at those boundaries. And she made it was like a game to her. And I realized what she was doing. I don't even know if I knew it was boundaries, but I just knew that she was doing that. And I went no contact shortly after all these things were going on. But man, I'm telling you, a narcissist, or even a person that has a few narcissistic traits, you tell them you can't do something, especially the ones that want you to do stuff for them, because there's a lot of them. They don't even hear you. They pretend as if they didn't hear you. Anytime you're around someone that's doing stuff like that, man, it's time to go. It's time to go. Because really, whether they're a narcissist or not, it doesn't even matter. I think there's some people that are just more toxic that do narcissistic things that aren't necessarily a narcissist, you know. They're just kind of screwed up and kind of selfish. But anyways, anytime you're around a person that is ignoring you, that's like a real problem. That's a problem. Anyone that's not acknowledging you, that's a problem. We've all dealt with that kind of thing. We've all dealt with it. And I mean, I get tickled because I see all of these weird YouTube videos that are They're trying to negate and take away from all what's happening in the narcissism education realms. You know, people that have woken up to what narcissism is. And there's a lot of what I would call they're trying to chip away at it. It's all kinds of folks doing this. And you know they're narcissists. You know they're narcissists. That is just hilarious to me. So there's a lot of individuals trying to negate that narcissism is not a thing, or, oh, you know, like make it, minimize it, like, oh yeah, everybody's a narcissist now, you know. And sure, there's probably some truth to that. But when they're trying to completely tear it down, I mean, I wonder if that would be a boundary. I don't think that's a boundary. Maybe it is. But we can all use different words. My last YouTube channel, I had made a lot of what I would call narcissism videos, but I just didn't use the word narcissism. I would talk about the tactics. You know what I mean? So it's like anyone out there trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? Like when you take something down, like you're going to deconstruct it. They're trying to deconstruct narcissism. The fact that anyone, and that's the whole metaphysical thing, the fact that anyone's trying to deconstruct a construct that's already in the matrix, that's already in the world. Hello. So, and, you know, I've already said, like, if you're around a person that's not honoring your boundaries, they're trying to destroy your boundaries, annihilate them, or gaslight you, just, especially if you've just met this person, get away from them. I would say go no contact. That's what I do. That's what I do. And I'm more discerning and particular about the friends I choose nowadays. And I have like maybe one or two, and that's okay. I don't have like 20, 30, 40 friends. I don't need 20, 30, 40 friends. I'm just, you know, I feel like once you get more informed about the world, and again, I'm going to start talking about law of attraction. I keep saying that. But law of attraction is real, even though sometimes law of attraction can be a painful experience. I believe it's real. So, and it's like, I believe it was Dr. Reverend Michael Beckwith said, he repeated what someone else had said, is that it's like law of gravity. You know it's there, and it doesn't matter if you believe it or not, but you're going to hit the ground, you know, or something like that, that something's going to hit the ground. That's what I feel like law of attraction is. So, but of course, law of attraction exists, but narcissists exist. So who do narcissists go for? They go for empaths. So, yeah, boundaries. I do feel like, and I'll probably do another video about this, I feel like a lot of workplaces, and I pick on workplaces a lot, because a lot of us have lived most of our lives there. I did. I'm not there anymore, but I really feel that a lot of workplaces have narcissism built right into it. And boundaries. I was thinking about it before, boundaries. Where have you seen certain workplaces that want to completely destroy any boundary you have? I talked about that whole being voluntold, where you're already working 5 days a week, working your butt off, and your narcissistic boss wants you to come in and volunteer your whole weekend. And I was on a salary. And I didn't make a lot, but I was making good money. And I'm like, really, dude? And a lot of the jokes were amongst me and my coworkers were like, just because you don't have a life doesn't mean we don't want one. Furthermore, you have things to do. And that's them imposing on your personal time. So it's not just workplaces, but I think it's a huge place. It really is. And there's probably other social systems that are messing with our boundaries. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to go there. But, so that's it for now, you guys. I hope that this was informative, and I hope wherever you are, you have an amazing day or night, wherever you are. Peace.